You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
Decision.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Depend on it.
Your Monday weather from Acadiana's weather experts at KATC TV3 calls for hot and dry, partly cloudy conditions today. Afternoon high getting up to 91 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low at 69 degrees. And for your Tuesday, a bit more sunshine. Afternoon high once again at 91 degrees. Sunny conditions Wednesday. Possibility of showers Thursday and Friday. That's your weather here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
It's Fox Wheels.
The best time to buy a used car, December and January. That from Car Edge, that says year-end deals on new cars soak up much of the car buying competition, making used car prices more flexible. The Commerce Department is proposing a regulation to ban the use of Chinese software in connected vehicles on U.S. roadways. There are few Chinese products on American roads, though the government's saying it wants to get ahead of potential national security issues. The worst drivers in the U.S., Hawaii, Wyoming, New Mexico, Oregon, and Alaska. That from a Forbes survey of bad driving behaviors, including running red lights and illegal lane changes, eating and texting behind the wheel. The states with the best drivers, according to the study: Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Georgia. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Fox Sports Update.
Just a foot race with a 250-pound man. Somebody in the secondary is going to win that race, right? I don't think so. King Henry putting down a marker early in this one.
That is the longest run in the history of the Baltimore Ravens.
Sunday Night Football on NBC, the first offensive play of the game for Baltimore last night at home against Buffalo.
Here goes Henry up a big running game against Dallas. Derrick Henry on the run. Heflin and Lewis chasing at the 40, at the 30. He will score!
On NBC, Derrick Henry's 87-yard touchdown run on the Ravens' first play from scrimmage set the tone for Baltimore. The Ravens went on to blast the previously unbeaten Bills 35-10. The Bills' NFL record streak of not losing any game by more than 6 points ended at 43 games. Derrick Henry ran for 199 yards, including the longest run in the 29-year history of the Ravens of 87 yards. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another. The Bills, who had won their last 8 regular season games dating to last season, got 180 passing yards from Josh Allen. There are only 3 teams who have not lost a game yet this season. The number could be down to 2 after tonight. Second week in a row, 2 games on Monday Night Football. First, 7:30 Eastern. Tyler Huntley will make his first start as Dolphins quarterback. 1-2 Miami hosts 0-3 Tennessee. Then at 8:15 Eastern, the 3-0 Seahawks visit the 2-1 Lions. Only 2 teams are 4-0. The 2-time reigning Super Bowl champion Chiefs, who came back from 10-0 down against the Chargers to win in Los Angeles 17-10. And the Vikings are 4-0 after they held off the Packers 31-29, a game that Minnesota led 28-0. Today, the last 2 games of the MLB regular season, a doubleheader in Atlanta between the Braves and the Mets to decide the final playoff spots in the National League. For more scores, stories, and features, go to foxsports.com. I'm Jared Max.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
DirecTV has agreed to merge with its rival Dish. The deal happened because this morning, AT&T sold its majority stake in DirecTV to investment firm TPG. Then DirecTV agreed to buy Dish from EchoStar for $1, plus assuming debt of $9.8 billion. Fortnite's parent company Epic Games is suing Google and Samsung, accusing them of adding restrictions that make it complicated to install a third-party app store. Automakers' shares are losing ground because Jeep's parent company Stellantis lowered expectations for the year. Gold prices are higher, driven by optimism that the Federal Reserve has plans for more interest rate cuts, and it is rising because of stimulus in China. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Get ready for something fresh and exciting with the Josh Guillory Show. Josh Guillory brings a new perspective to the airwaves, analyzing news and issues coming out of Baton Rouge in Washington, D.C., and breaking down how they affect you. Engaging, raw, and informative, Guillory knows how to have fun while delivering the latest in politics and current events. With daily features that entertain and inform, you won't want to miss a single episode. The Josh Guillory Show, 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, only on News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
Dear John, uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. But when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
To get your high blood pressure to a healthy range, visit heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
At least 101 deaths. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Many far away from where the hurricane first hit.
I came from Florida after Hurricane Ian. I thought this is the area to be safe, and this is not safe.
She is in Asheville, North Carolina. So is Fox's Steve Harrigan surveying flood damage.
People who I was talking to coming down to look at their house or their job, and the buildings are simply gone.
Roads have also been washed out in the mountains around there after some areas got over 2 feet of rain.
And one of the real stressors is, with more than 600 people still unaccounted for, is how high that death toll could go. And the stress is in part coming from the lack of cell phone service. People can't get out and tell people they're safe. They can't move around, and loved ones can't communicate with one another.
There's also flooding and storm damage from South Carolina to Tennessee to Florida. Vice President Harris will focus today on FEMA's storm response. Former President Trump will meet with storm victims today in Georgia. The day after blaming Harris for record illegal immigration, saying she should be prosecuted.
She painted him as the agent of chaos, said he didn't solve the shortage of border agents or immigration judges as president, and killed the bipartisan border bill that she has now co-opted as her own platform. Trump has fired back, especially after new ICE data revealed tens of thousands of illegal migrants with sex offenses and homicide convictions are running around the country undetained.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt, Ryan Ruth, back in court next hour to be arraigned on additional charges. Iran's vowed revenge against Israel for killing Hezbollah's leader in Lebanon, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just delivered a message to the Iranian people.
Iran's tyrants don't care about your future, but you do. When Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, everything will be different.
More Israeli strikes in Lebanon today killed more Iran-backed militants, including Hamas's leader in Lebanon. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your 9 o'clock code for your chance to win cash is 877. 877 is your code for a chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Day as we rock and roll. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. 844-766-6607 is always a Matthew James Business Reduction Tax Reduction Hotline. All righty, got a great program lined up for you today. A lot going on, and looking forward to visiting with you today as the week starts. Best day of the work week. It starts today. Our friend Gifford Briggs joins us. Giff, what's going on?
I'm not sure I've heard too many people refer to Monday as the best day of the work week.
You got the whole week to get it right, dude. I've been doing this for a long time. I've always said that.
That's definitely an interesting perspective.
Well, you know,
a very optimistic outlook on life right there. But
hey, Gift, check it out though. I get accused of being negative, which I don't have a negative bone in my body. This flips that a minute. Well, this dude's happy on a Monday. I got another day to live. You know, and that's something else, Gifford. I have a few years on you. And when you get older, you appreciate life a lot more, man. I promise you do as you get older.
My father said, every day you wake up on the green side of the grass is a good day.
Well, your daddy was a good man, and I know he lived a really good life. Gifford, tell people, because you kind of made a move on us, the association you're with now.
Yeah, so I'm with the American Petroleum Institute doing government relations across the entire Gulf Coast region, and API is one of the oldest trade associations representing all segments of the oil and gas industry, both here in the United States as well as internationally. And, you know, we do typical trade association work, but we also maintain and how we got started a standards organization. So many people in the oil field and, you know, right there in Lafayette, Louisiana, will know API not because of the work that we do on the policy side or the political side, but the work that we do in setting safety standards for the industry.
Yeah, I would be amiss if I didn't ask about the hurricane. Did you survive it? Because I know having gas, diesel, and bottled water and things to survive on. Could you imagine a hospital without fossil fuels? I mean, this is so important to not only the industry, but it's also a great thing to know that you have your own energy available to feed your people and to protect the borders. It's just the most important industry we've ever had in the United States.
Well, there's no doubt, right? And as you're leading up to a storm, everyone wants to talk about fuel, and then do you have a generator, and do you have a natural gas generator, right, to be able to continue to power your home? Because in those moments, you realize that the ability to have energy, to have electricity, is paramount, to be able to, fuel your vehicles and then post recovery, right? Being able to, again, have fuel for generators to be able to power the equipment that's going to, save lives and start moving people around. This industry has created more economic prosperity and freedom than any other industry. And I thank the Lord every day for the opportunity to represent and work with the men and women that make up this industry, because they're the best that there are.
Yeah, well, and I agree 100%. It's just, the two things, and you know this, you grew up in the business with your dad and learned and got involved in it. But, the two things we have always had in the United States, cheap energy and cheap food. Those are still the most important things today. If we got cheap energy, we can go conduct business. People can move around and come and go and conduct their business. And, that to me is one of the most important things. Then if you got cheap food, people can eat and you can feed people. And that's what this industry's done. It's also can protect the borders and protect us from people that want to hurt the United States of America. I just think those are the most important things.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't have cheap energy, I think it's very likely that you're not going to have cheap food, right? It's certainly not on the scale that that we as a country are trying to provide for our people, right? I mean, it's great. You see all these little community gardens, and they're wonderful, but that can't feed the masses in our urban populations, and then beyond that, the humanitarian work that we do throughout the world. If you don't have cheap energy, you're not going to have the abundance of cheap food to be able to provide for the people of this country and all the others.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But that's the thing, and I see people out there trying to destroy an industry and chemical plants and things of that nature. I know renewables are out there, and I ain't gonna get in a big fight with you, because I think from carbon capture on is a joke. That's my opinion, and I can back it up. But I'm worried more about the oil and gas industry taking that money from the federal government. One day they always wanted to get their hands on oil and gas. And I think they may be doing it through carbon capture and through some of this renewable stuff, because a lot of these big oil companies have invested in it. Now, I notice Shell and Exxon are starting to back off a lot of it. Just your thoughts on that, because I know in the industry you have to support the oil and gas industry. If they support that, and you have no choice as an association to support them, but it still gets down to the bottom line. Fossil fuels are the way to go. We got so much natural gas in Louisiana, Lord have mercy. We're exporting it. I mean, it's really a good thing, but this administration is trying to rip it down, and your fight's tough because of what they're trying to do to the industry.
Yeah, I mean, look, the good news is that regardless of all of the efforts that are out there, to bring on newer forms of energy or renewables or solar or wind, and look, we need all of those. We need all of the above energy strategy. The projections for the consumption of fossil fuels only continues to grow out into 2030. Even as the share of renewables of the total energy portfolio may be growing a little bit, the overall consumption of oil and natural gas continues to grow, because there are billions of people across the planet that don't have access to the cheap energy that you're talking about, and they're not worried about what type of energy it is. They just want electricity, period, and they want energy, period. And look, our industry is going to continue to evolve. We are going to continue, as we have done for over a century, to look for ways to continue to produce oil and natural gas in a cleaner, more affordable way.
But Gifford, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Don't you think y'all have always done that? I mean, that's what's the good 100%. News about oil and gas. Y'all always have done that from day one.
And we're going to continue to do it. I mean, look, we've seen the pictures from the Jennings oil fields back in the day. I mean, I've got some in my office where, I mean, it's every 50 yards there's almost a derrick stacked, right? And now with the technology that we have today, we can, on a 1 acre, footprint on the surface, can drill horizontally and laterally in every direction out for miles, and significantly reducing our environmental footprint. We are going to continue to do that, tomorrow and into the future, because it's the right thing to do, because it makes sense. It's good for our employees. It's good for our families. It's good for our companies and our industry. And it's good. It's just good, period. And it's the right thing to do. And that's what our industry has always done. And we're going to continue to do that as we provide the fuel and energy and resources that the world needs.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a few more minutes?
I do.
Okay, let me do this. Quick break, come back 5 or 6 minutes. Gifford Briggs, American Petroleum Association, and Gifford is a Louisiana boy, but they moved him up, so he moved out. He ain't got no income tax, though. How you like that? Anyway, Gifford, just give me a few more seconds. You're listening to The Moon Griffon Show. With the summer heat here, let's talk about your AC. You're looking for a reliable, locally owned company that you can trust? Call Adapt Concepts AC and Heating. They have been serving all of Acadiana, the surrounding area, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. For your home or business, Adapt Concepts AC and Heating has you covered, with certified technicians specializing in everything from residential to large commercial HVAC systems, available 24/7. These guys are focused on providing professional quality work and ensuring customer satisfaction every step of the way. You want the professionals? You want the best? This is them. Don't miss this summer special. 0% financing, up to $3,000 off qualifying high-efficiency equipment. Not only that, they will throw in a free 12-year part and labor warranty. That's right, 12 years part and labor. Wow. Don't you want to know more about them? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. I've been telling you about Schumacher Homes for a long time. Now, for a limited time, you can choose from 5 different financing offers and pick one that works best for you. Whether you're an active duty, military, or veteran, you can take advantage of the exclusive VA construction loan offer. You can lock in 30-year fixed financing for as low as 3.875. How about that? Looking to stay in your home and start construction right away? A stay in your home loan might be right for you. With this option, you can stay in your home during construction and not worry about moving twice. And for you first-time home buyers, we're not going to forget you. For a limited time, they're offering 30-year fixed financing as low as 3.875. Other financing offers include no-cost refinancing, conventional loans, and FHA construction loans. If you're thinking of building your dream custom home, there's no time like the present to start building. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Let them build your dream home. They're building dream homes one at a time. Hey, folks, if you're looking to buy a new...
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Louisiana.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It is a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Best day to work week. Gifford Briggs, my special guest, heads up the American Petroleum Association. Yeah, Gifford, I just know how good this industry's been to our country. It's probably the greatest invention we ever had. I'm going fossil fuels more than this other stuff. And without this fossil fuel, you couldn't even have renewables. There wouldn't even be any renewables. That's what's so sad. So many people convinced that your industry is such a bad industry. Your industry is the best industry that ever happened to the whole world. Number one. And number two, we fed the world. We protected the world. Without this industry, there would be none of this. That's how great this industry is.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly from my perspective, it's hard to argue, and I've seen all sides of it, right? I've ridden the roller coaster, and when times were great, and certainly been in Lafayette and felt the repercussions when times were not so good for the industry. But the overall benefit to the economy, and both locally at the state, nationally and globally, is unmatched and really unquestioned. And the reason that we have the opportunity and the ability to think about things like, how can we bring more renewables on and how can we do things in a cleaner way is because the energy industry, the oil and natural gas industry, has provided us the economic freedom and liberty to be able to consider those choices, where if you're in a place where, you're still using maybe firewood or other sources of energy to heat your home, you don't have the luxury to think about what type of energy that you have. You just want any kind of energy. And here in the United States, we are blessed with a resilient, abundant oil and natural gas industry that allows us the opportunity and freedom to be able to consider what other options there could be and what additional sources of energy that we can bring on to supply our needs.
Yeah, it's I just think, like I told you, the number one is always going to be fossil fuels and natural gas. I still think coal's a player. And by the way, you mentioned about these places, other places, but in other places around the world, you got to have energy, but it's got to be affordable too, Giff. And I think that's the big thing about fossil fuels. It's affordable. A lot of this stuff takes federal subsidies out the wazoo to even happen. This is an affordable means of doing it, and people need to be able to afford it. That's why oil and gas is still number one. It's just something we can afford.
Yeah, and look, and reliability is a big part of that, right? And we certainly know that in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, and you want to know that when you reach to turn the lights on at 2 a.m. because you've got to get up and check something in the house, or if you're working late, that you're going to have the energy there. And solar and wind are great, and battery technology is coming along that can help some of that out. But the reliability that we have in our grid because of the abundance of natural gas and its reliability, the reliability in our pipeline infrastructure is incredible, and it's critical to our nation's security and our nation's success.
Hey, Giff, real quick, you got a quick website?
Sure, API.org, very easy to go to, www.api.org.
Good luck to y'all over in Florida, Giff, for the cleanup. God bless. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, we'll take a break, be right back. More to come. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on Collie Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on Collie Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Louisiana has some pretty crazy weather at times. Torrential rains, gusty winds, especially up north, hail, and of course, hurricanes. You got to remember your roof protects everything, you and your family and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select shingle master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System. And that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day. Great day to be with you. Monday, best day of the work week. The Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, 844-766-6607 is the number. Before we get to that, I do want to mention, if you're going to be around Southwest Louisiana, I got an opportunity to go speak this coming Thursday, and you are invited. It is Southwest Louisiana Republicans.org, SWL, Southwest Louisiana Republicans.org. I'll be speaking at a big group, big event, having fun, big fish fry. That is going to be this coming Thursday, October 3rd, 5:30, fish fry. I think it's about $40. They would love to have y'all to come out. It's going to be at the Loggerheads Riverside Event Center. You can walk up if they got tables left. But if you want to pre-purchase, go to southwestlouisianarepublicans.org. I'll be there. Love to see y'all. Opportunity to travel the state and speak. Always a lot of fun for me. Always see and meet a lot of good people. So that will be this Thursday, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun to travel the state. Like I said, I'm not a world traveler. I'm a state traveler. And it's always, always a lot of fun. So if you get a chance and you're over in Lake Charles, Louisiana, come on out. Come visit. Love to meet you. It's just one of the fun things to do around the state. Meeting our people is never old with me. I just love being around Louisiana people. I really do. Also, I got to tell y'all, the hurricane went through, and the recovery is going to be a while. Typical hurricane, just lights everything up, floods everything. That thing, North Carolina, Georgia, the Carolinas in general, but that thing hurt a lot of people. We need a lot of prayer, be a lot of money. I just think about that. I had Gifford Briggs on. Just think if everything was electric. Everything was electric. First of all, you wouldn't have moved people. There's already over 100 dead. If you can't move people around, and that's why this is crazy what they're trying to do. Y'all not going to believe what John Kerry said. You're not going to believe what John Kerry said. And it's all dealing with this green stuff. But anyway, free speech, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. It's just incredible what John Kerry said. John Kerry, who served in Vietnam, Joe, by the way, if you didn't know that. I'm just letting you know he served in Vietnam. So, but the Weather Channel and the Weather Channel's Fox is the same way. If you watch that and watching stuff on what happened to the hurricane, I get that because I am concerned for those people. Be concerned for us and anybody else. But man, all they do is they showing all these storms out there, and 90% of the ones they showing probably won't even get to us. And then they start talking about one developing that we won't need to know anything about it for a week. I was telling that to a friend of mine. I said, I don't understand. And it almost looks like they're scaring people. And I'm sure because I'm not watching, they're talking about man-made global warming and fossil fuels and all that's crazy. But I don't see how people sit there and watch the Weather Channel. Why do you want to watch something that scares you? It'd be like watch them scary movies. You don't really watch all that craziness. I did when I was younger. I wouldn't watch that now. Halloween and all that stuff. I watched all that when I was young. But it would be like sitting there, you scared of your shadow, and you're going to sit there and watch Halloween and Friday the 13th and all that stuff and get even worse. That would be, to me, if you look at the Weather Channel, scared to death of what the weather's going to do that you will never have control over. Nobody else will. Then why do you sit there and watch the Weather Channel? Oh, my God, there's a storm coming off Africa. Or they might be one, maybe not, developing around Cancun or somewhere down in the Caribbean. But why? Just sit there and look at that all day. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Man, if you live like that, man, you got problems. You need to seek some help, spiritual help more than anything else. Sit there and look at that all day. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Hope it don't hit us. You can never have an effect on where these things are going to go. They're going to keep coming. They were coming before you and me got here. They're going to be coming when we gone. That's just the way it is. Why, I have no idea, but we ain't got anything to do with it. I can promise you that. The United States has nothing to do with hurricanes coming through or tornadoes. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But, that's what some people want to watch, that scared to death of their own shadow, watch scary movies. Scared of the weather, going to sit down and watch the Weather Channel every 5 seconds. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. It don't mean it's not fun. By the way, did y'all see the reception Donald Trump got at the Alabama-Georgia heavyweight contest Saturday night? Loud welcome for the crowd and people that was at the game. I mean, a big welcome. Do you think Kamala Harris would have got the same welcome? I'm just you think Joe Biden would have got the same welcome? Of course, you ain't got to worry about them going to something like that. But Trump got a gigantic deal before the gigantic football game, which was a lot of fun. If you like me and you like SEC football, that was a lot of fun. I just kind of got a kick out of watching Bama blows a 28-point lead. Walker, you ever think, and I know you watch it, you think Bama's 28 points better than Georgia? Never. No, you're right. It was never. And that's not a cut on Bama. Georgia would have been 28 points up. It wouldn't have been a comment on Georgia if Alabama had came back. Okay? It wasn't it. But that's just people. Because, people that hate Bama, hate LSU, that's what they say. But the game was never going to be that lopsided. And remember, a football game in college, and I like it just like a lot of you, it's a 60-minute game. And I heard all the great coaches always talked about playing 60 minutes. It took the whole 60 minutes to determine who the best team was that night. Don't mean you're the best team. You're the best team that night. And that's all you got to be is the best team that night. If you play again, then you got to be the best team that night. I kind of got a kick out of watching people. 28 blew. They didn't blow anything. Georgia came running back. They were fortunate to have a 28-point lead. But there's a lot of ifs in the games. And this is the problem. I heard they had 4 turnovers, they'd have won. Well, quit making turnovers. Well, you know what they ought to do for people like that? People that don't want to have any turnovers, what they ought to do after they make a turnover. Walker, wouldn't it have been good that at the end of the game they got the turnover and they said, no, let them try again. We don't want it. And y'all try again. Don't. And the fumble and the interception, no matter who does it, well, look, here it is. Nussmeier threw 2 interceptions for LSU. Okay? He's a gunslinger. He's really good, too. But he threw 2 interceptions. The team they played, South Alabama, here's the ball back. We know y'all didn't mean to do that. Let's play this play over again. That's all part of the game. Every bit of it is part of the game. Penalties. Okay? Well, they call all these penalties. Quit calling them. My brother called me the other night, Walker, your uncle. You know that one. And he made a great point, and I just read it. I meant to send it to him. You know why? Don't you think they call too many penalties? I do. Okay? You realize penalties are way up over the last few years. You know why? Some of y'all ain't going to like it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. He made a good point. I thought about it. Instant replay. They don't want to get it wrong because we got all these cameras out here for everybody. We got to show it over and over and over and over and over again. And a referee can't have his reputation go down. They're going to throw that flag. And then the problem is they showed in that particular game on both sides, they show a penalty that wasn't called. So penalties are way up because guess why? Instant replay. Which I am not an instant replay advocate in any of that sports. Play, call, let's move on. Well, they get it right. It's still, I think they claim they get it right. I don't know, 70, 80% of the time, but the call on the field was right. 70, 80% of the time. That's pretty good. But everybody's all in the instant replay. I'm not. I think I think it's a horrible part of the game. Make the call and move on. But what if? Well, what if? So what? What if? But I think they're calling more penalties now than they ever have because of instant replay. And my brother brought that up, and pretty good observation of instant replay, calling more penalties now. We don't want to miss anything. And people are getting trained that a camera means everything. But you know what's sad on instant replay? How many times have y'all sat there and said, that was a catch, that wasn't a catch? You and your buddy arguing. And you go to the announcers and they go, that wasn't a catch. So they making a judgment. And then on the field, they ruled it as a catch. It's all subjective. It's all what they believe they saw. So the person up there who gets to make the final decision may disagree with you, but he's the guy making the decision, so it's right on that count. And we've all said that. Even with instant replay, you don't know if they got it right. So anyway, it's just all right. When we get back, Kamala Harris, 650,000 illegals, criminal suspects freed in our country. Also, wait till you hear what John Kerry had to say about free speech. Oh, this is what they all believe. We'll get that and a lot more, not to mention the state, 0.45, all that to be discussed today on the Moon Griffon Show. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on Colley Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Louisiana has some pretty crazy weather at times. Torrential rains, gusty winds, especially up north. Hail, and of course, hurricanes. You got to remember your roof protects everything, you and your family and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System, and that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day. A great day to be with you. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. At the top of the hour, I want to talk about the tax reform plan. I'm hearing more about it. I got some big questions. And by the way, I do want to support the plan if it's the plan that we need. I'm telling you right now. I know we need to change something. I really do want to support it, but I'm also not going to support something I don't think it'll work. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because we need to do something. So, what starting to bother me is the 0.45, and I explained that coming out of the top of the hour. But I got to share this with you. John Kerry, who served in Vietnam, who worked under the did he work under the Obama administration? So. Maybe he started under Biden. I don't know. This guy's so far out of it. He's into the green new kook stuff. John Kerry calls the First Amendment a major block to stopping disinformation. John Kerry, who served in Vietnam, was a United States senator, thinks the First Amendment is getting in the way of their agenda. It is getting, if you're a Marxist, communist, socialist type country, they don't have a First Amendment. This is what you can't tell Democrats, the people that vote for Kamala Harris. You can't tell them how bad these people are. They're going to wait till it's too late. He says the First Amendment's blocking to stop disinformation. Kerry adds democracies are struggling without a truth arbiter. See, this is coming out of the mouth of Barack Insane, Satan's brother, himself. He said we need about 2 media sources, and that's it. Folks, these people really mean this. John Kerry called the First Amendment a major block to combating information and fighting, you ready? Climate change. The former Secretary of State took part in the World Economic Forum panel on green energy on Wednesday. The World Economic Forum is not the friends of the United States. They're the enemy of the United States. And John Kerry's right there with them. Near the end of the panel, a member of the audience asked, what can we be done to push back against disinformation surrounding climate change online? Well, my first reaction is, why don't y'all quit lying about this craziness and this hoax and it'll all go away? That's what they ought to start doing. Nobody else is lying about this. You know, there's a lot of discussion now about how to curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have some accountability on facts. But look, if people only go to one source and source they go is a sick and has an agenda, they're putting out disinformation. our First Amendment stands a major block to be able to just, hammer it out for existence. Kerry and them want to get rid of the First Amendment. Kerry suggested this was an issue unique to democracies. The dislike of an anguish over social media is growing and growing. It's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus. They want to build consensus around illegals coming through and they're good. They want to build consensus that running up debt is okay. They want to build consensus that the Green New Deal, man's causing all this. And whatever the consensus is, you have to believe it, even if it's a lie. Consensus on wearing a mask, consensus on 6 foot distance, consensus on the vaccine. No facts, no scientific facts at all. It's really hard to govern today. Yeah, it's hard to govern people who are looking at you saying, John Kerry, you're full of crap. You're a liar. He's acting like a Marxist. He says it's really hard to govern today. The referees we used to have to determine that is a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of been exasperated to a certain degree. And people go and self-select where they go for their news, for their information, and you get into a vicious cycle. He wants the same thing Barack, Satan's brother, and Sanity wanted. They wanted a couple news sources. That's it. That's it. You'll get everything and you'll like it. That's what China does to their people. And that's as communist country as you can get. And the government tells them how many times they can flush a commode, how many babies they can have. Folks, that is not what this country was built on. This is exactly what we fought against in Vietnam, in World War I, and World War II, in the Korea War. And we can go on and on with all the wars and stuff all over the country, all over the world. John Kerry and his group of idiots, they want you to believe, they want America. You gotta hate America to believe what John Kerry just said. That's why they want you to hate Trump more than love America. Because if you hate Trump more than you love America, then they're gonna show you how to get the job done. This guy basically says the First Amendment is a major block. I wonder why the founders put that in the First Amendment. Because it was the most important thing. Second Amendment was to protect you with the First Amendment. Folks, look what these people are doing. How can people not wake up on a presidential election, and in the Senate and House is just as important? How can people buy into what these people are saying? All right, so Kamala Harris is out there. Walker, you got that clip? I want you to listen to this clip. May play it again in the second hour, but this is Kamala Harris. This is a guy has pinpointed that with Kamala Harris and the theme she's using is a communist theme, a communist theme that's been used in America, a communist theme that's been used all around the world. Kamala Harris is using it and saying it every day in campaign stops. The same thing John Kerry believes. Listen. Nothing. Well, almost listen. I don't hear it. All right, Walker, when you get it, let me know. And it's for some reason it's having a problem playing, but you ought to hear this, and I hope you'll get to Kamala Harris and her communist themes over and over and over again.
America is ready for a new way forward. We are not going back. We together will chart a new way forward. We're not going back. Together we'll move forward.
We're not going back. Forward together. Folks, this has literally been the slogan of the Communist Party for the past 10 years. I'm not even joking. If you go to the Communist Party USA's website, 3 years ago, Communist co-chair Rosanna Cambron literally wrote an article titled, "We're Not Going Back, Forward Together." Rosanna is a communist through and through, and she's unashamed of it.
That's how we communists work. This is how you build that movement that's going to be the massive movement that we need to topple capitalism.
It's not a coincidence that this just so happens to be Kamala Harris's campaign slogan, nor did she plagiarize it from the Communist Party. Communists have long acted as the kind of ideological undergird of the Democrat Party here in the United States, and Kamala Harris is just a continuation of that.
Forward together!
together we'll move forward.
Again, for the past decade, communists have been giving speeches all over the country where they have the banner, "We're not going back," plastered behind them.
Chicago has produced more outstanding communist leaders maybe than any other place around in a lot of ways.
So this begs a question. Do you continue to pretend that Kamala Harris is not influenced by communist ideology, choosing instead to blindly accept the Marxian policies that she's pushing forward? Or do you choose not to be the idiot they think you are?
Yeah, okay, hold that, Walker. You could revamp it. Okay, so a new way forward. What's the new way? Freedom is supposed to be free. Constitution. And not going back where? We're not going back to the free country we had before Barack Obama came along. We're not going back. What you mean we're not going back? This is John Kerry, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. If you're going to keep these people in charge, we deserve everything we get. That's why people are scared to death. People with sense, they're not voting Kamala Harris. I saw the former senator from Arizona that Trump whipped, Flake, who is a flake, endorsed Kamala Harris. I wonder what Bill Cassidy is going to endorse. I'm just kind of curious. I wonder what old Bill Boy is going to endorse. Old Psycho Bill. More news on him later in the day. That's Kamala Harris, folks. Can you believe that? I can. I see it. I saw it when Barack Obama came on the scene. All right, we got to take a break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show, sales tax, all that and more as the program unfolds.
When the power goes out.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
Still trying to recover from a hurricane, Florida to the Carolinas. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's been an incredibly apocalyptic weekend for all of us here in Asheville, North Carolina.
There was historic flooding there that washed out roads, leaving hundreds in mountainous areas unaccounted for. No cell service, no running water. At least 35 of Helene's 100-plus deaths are in North Carolina. The storm hit Florida first.
The state's collaborating with county emergency management partners to open recovery shelters.
That's Governor Ron DeSantis a short time ago. We'll soon hear from President Biden on the disaster response. He plans to tour affected areas. Vice President Harris cutting her campaign trip out west short to focus on FEMA's federal aid. There are still more than 2 million power outages, Florida up to Ohio, many of them in Georgia, where Governor Brian Kemp just said,
"This hurricane, it looks like a 250-mile wide tornado has hit."
Former President Trump will go to hard-hit Valdosta, Georgia today. Fox's Alexandria Hoff is there.
He plans to get a briefing on the devastation. He's going to deliver remarks, and his campaign says he's also going to help distribute some supplies. And the need for help here, I mean, it is abundantly clear. You just have to look around, drive around a little bit. It is stunning.
It's back to federal court this hour for Ryan Ruth, the suspect in the second Trump assassination attempt.
He is accused of hiding near former President Trump's West Palm Beach, Florida golf course with a rifle while Trump was playing on September 15th. In addition to being charged with attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, Ruth is also charged with 3 federal firearms charges and a count of assaulting a federal officer.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. A strike is looming at midnight that could hurt the economy. Dock workers at ports from New England to Texas could walk off the job in a contract dispute.
Businesses are very concerned about their goods getting trapped in the supply chain. Things like cars and car parts, even holiday gifts could get trapped.
Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu at the port in Bayonne, New Jersey. America's listening to Fox News.
NYPD officer Jonathan Diller's tragic story made national headlines this year. Now, Jonathan was shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop. Jonathan, who is just 31 years old, leaves behind his wife Stephanie and 1-year-old son Ryan. Now, nothing will ever replace the loss of a husband and a father, But the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the mortgage on the Diller family's home. Please commit to $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your code for 10 a.m. is 303. 303 is your code for a chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to be with you today. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline on a beautiful Monday. Best day of the work week. As we rock and roll, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Miss Pam Magoo joins me. I just mentioned an event in Lake Charles this Thursday. Pam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Moon. How are you this morning?
I'm doing sensational. It's another beginning of a week to get the week off right. So I'm doing super. And the weather's getting cool, and the mornings and evenings are cooler, and kind of nice right now.
It is very nice. It's a beautiful day today, even for a Monday.
I'm telling you, well, I like a Monday because I got the whole week to get it right. So that's a good thing. But
that's right.
Talk a little bit about the event this coming Thursday, who's putting it on, how to get tickets. I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun to go to that part of Louisiana over toward Lake Charles. Love going over there.
Oh, we're looking so forward to having you. What we're doing this weekend, the Calcasieu Republican Parish Executive Committee is putting on a roundtable, Republican roundtable, and of course you're our guest speaker, so we're very excited about that. It's going to be held this Thursday, October the 3rd, at the Riverside Event Center, which is part of the Loggerheads complex, which pretty much everybody in this area knows where that is. But we're very excited. You're going to come talk about all the wonderful topics that you talk about on your show, and I'm sure get into a lot with the presidential election, which is always great, as well as state politics.
And I like to have I like to have a lot of fun too. So y'all can either laugh with me or at me. It doesn't matter.
See, exactly. I think pretty much everybody agrees with you 99% of the time, I'm sure.
Well, I hope not that much.
Yes.
My wife don't agree with me that much.
There's a little controversy.
Yes. But anyway, tell people how to get tickets. Can they come up to the door and buy a ticket? How's all that working?
Okay, what we're going to ask them to do is to go to our website, which is SWLA Republicans with an S.org. And they will be able to buy tickets. Tickets are $40 a piece, or you can do a reserved table of 8 for $400. The evening's going to start at 5:30 with a social. Then we'll follow with dinner, and then you'll start speaking about 7 p.m., and it's a fish fry. So dress as casual. If they want to wear their Trump apparel, we would love it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Perfectly all right. But again, it's at the Riverside Event Center, which is part of Loggerheads, and that is on Louisiana 3059, which people around this town know it's Old Town Road, off of Old Town Road. But if they would go to the Southwest Louisiana, SWLA, Republicans.org, and again, they can buy their tickets. They can come hear you, have a great meal. They'll be able to visit with people of like thinking and then get to listen to you. Tell us all the great news that you have.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. So one more time, give out what, the parameters of how to come, tickets and all that stuff one more time.
Tickets, $40 for individual, reserve table for 8 for $400. We would like for them to purchase them by going online or making a reservation online. If they need to pay at the door, that's fine. SWLA Republicans.org, O-R-G. Again, it's this Thursday, October the 3rd. The doors will open at 5:30 with a social, and then you will speak at 7. And it is a fish fry, so dress as casual.
Yeah. I'm coming casual, too. I like to eat fried fish. Now, look, I ain't got a problem with that. I'm not going to have a coat on, I can tell you.
No, that's good. We want everybody relaxed and enjoyable. It's right on the river. This complex is on the river, so the view is beautiful. And like you say, the evenings are getting cooler, so it's very nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
They can be inside the room or go on to the deck area until it's time for dinner and for you to speak.
All right, Miss Pam.
We're looking very forward to having you there.
Well, thank you, Miss Pam. Hope we get a bunch of folks to come out and have a lot of fun. If you like to have fun, it's going to be the place to be. And thank you so much.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Moon. And you have a wonderful day.
You too, Miss Pam. Thank you. God bless. Yeah, looking forward to it. I mentioned that earlier. Looking forward. If you want to come out, have some fun. Like I said, you can laugh with me or at me. It doesn't matter. As long as you get to laugh, have a good time. Because when I go to these events, I love having a good time. Man, it's a lot of fun. Tell jokes on my own self. Walker's over there going, Dad, you ain't mentioning the family, huh? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Got to sometimes. That's the funniest stuff happens with family. Not just friends. All right, before I get back, and I got some more to cover with Harris and Kerry and play that clip again, which is just ought to scare the hell out of everybody that people are going to vote for that. And they are. They got people going to vote for it. They don't give a rat's rear, and they hate Trump, and that's why they go. And I do think that somebody asked the other day about Trump and Trump winning. I told you I thought they would do anything they can to beat him, and I still believe that, and we got enough time for them to cause some kind of disaster to happen. And to make people have to vote in by mail or whatever, because that's kind of what they hoping, because they know mail-in votes is the way they can win. So anyway, I did want to talk about this tax reform deal. I want to wait. I want to give Governor Landry and I know Richard Nelson's been out there, and I've not been encouraged by some of the stuff Richard said. And I ain't heard from him yet to come on the program. He's more than welcome to come. I hope he can convince me that what they're doing is the right thing, because I want them to do something. And I want them to do something big. And he said, he was on the Brian Haldane show in Baton Rouge, that this would be the biggest thing since the Louisiana Purchase. And, I mean, that's great. That sounds great. That sounds big. And I hope he's right. I'm willing to wait and see what the plan is. I had a long conversation this morning before I even came on the program with somebody I got a lot of respect for about what's going on. And that the person I was talking to made a great point. And I was telling him my concern is I'm not seeing any kind of cuts. I'm not seeing what government's going to give back. I'm only seeing revenue creating revenue. I'm not seeing creating opportunities for businesses and people. I think that has to come first. If it's going to be and I just noticed, I'm just reading what the words that are being sent out of Richard's mouth is that this is all about revenue. And our state has had more revenue come in, a phenomenal amount of revenue to come in. And a lot of it has to do with the federal government. I was reading an article today on how much dependency that everybody is on the federal government all over the world, all over the country now. And so my concern is this, the 0.45. Everybody's talking about the 0.45. Paula Pelosi Davis was the one bragged about putting that on us. If they extend the 0.45, what they're telling me is that Bell Edwards was right. And Bell Edwards hadn't been right on anything. Our state's hurting because of Bell. And they're looking at this thing as Bell Edwards is right if you extend the 0.45. And he was wrong on that. See, here's the problem, and as I explained before. They added, Paula Pelosi Davis can explain she loves raising taxes. She raised about $3.5 billion on that just a 0.45 over 7 years. I think she voted for the 1 cent sales tax too, so add another $2.5 billion. So Paula Pelosi Davis voted for $6 billion in tax increases. She calls herself a conservative. You can ask her about it. $6 billion in new taxes. That's what she voted on. That's what I know on the top of my head. If I want to look at her record, there's no telling how bad it is. But the 0.45 should have never been put on us. Because now they've grown accustomed to taking that $450, $500 million, they shoved that sucker in the budget. Edwards and them knew this. They had dumb Republicans vote for it. And so what you got is the problem that you have is that now that money is embedded in the budget. So now, we can't get rid of that. We said, no way we can get rid of that. When that ought to not be what's so important. That $500 million ought to come off the budget. If they're not going to cut the budget $500 million to $600 million, then it's not going to be real reform in my book. That 0.45 should be dropped immediately. Well, what are we going to do? You shouldn't have voted for it in the first place. I beg people, when they voted for the 1 cent on the lie, the Bell Edwards J. Darn lie that we got a $2 billion budget deficit. See, when you bought into that, that's why we're still paying this tax, because you bought into a lie. There was never $2 billion in a budget deficit. By the way, if y'all running the great legendary J. Darden or Bell Boy, and they want to come explain the $2 billion, I wish they would, because there was never $2 billion. It was 1.1, 1.2, the other $800 million or $900 million was what they wanted to spend. So they scared everybody to death. I'm starting to see it now. I saw a headline today. I think it was in the child stuff, money for children or whatever. And we might have to cut the budget. And everybody's crying about cutting the budget now. All of them are. They don't want to cut the budget. So people in government and lobbyists, don't want anything to change in Louisiana. I mean, they just don't want anything to change. That's why I'm willing to wait and see where we're going with the budget and with the tax reform. I say tax reform has to be pro-business, pro-family first, and government gets after. If we're going to go government first, we'll never change the state of Louisiana. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. I'm just telling y'all, if it's about growing government, we have no chance of Louisiana coming out of this.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
This is Moon Griffon. The sun has never raised its rates, but your local energy company sure has. Solar Louisiana can install residential home solar systems with huge battery storage, or they can add batteries to your existing system. If there's an outage, you are sitting pretty with all the electricity you need. Imagine an electric bill so low, you can pay it with pocket change you find in your couch. Solar Louisiana has the experience you need to make the right decision. Online at solarlouisiana.net. Your energy independence company, Solar Louisiana.
If you've got some projects to do around the house and you need the voice of experience, of local voice, somebody that can help you and knows Louisiana, you need to check out Stein Home & Yard. They're a Louisiana company, founded, established here. They've been based here. Their story dates back all the way to 1946. Stein Home & Yard has all the things you need to make your house ready for fall. Great deals on fall plants like mums, as well as all sorts of handy items you need for your house. Need to upgrade your power tool game? They've got great deals on DeWalt power tools. They also have great deals on grills for your next tailgate for the big game this weekend. Traeger pellet grills, Weber grills, Charbroil, so many great brands, and it's all right there at your fingertips. Just pull them up, steinhome.com. Steinhome.com is where you need to go to find the greatest deals on your home improvement needs. Steinhome.com, a great Louisiana company.
If you're selling a big Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I have known him for years. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a beautiful day. Great, beautiful Monday. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. Now, one other thing on this, and this short segment, I've always said we got to do something big. I'm talking to Brian Haldane this morning at Guarantee Broadcasting. Brian interviewed Richard Nelson. I haven't heard from Nelson. So he said this is going to be bigger than a Louisiana Purchase. And I'm the first one to tell y'all we need something big to happen. You look back at the great legendary God sent us Ronald Reagan. What they did was they concentrated on the private sector being bigger. First thing you did. And he cut taxes, cut regulation, got the tax code back in line that made sense. And our country took off. It was depressed under Jimmy Carter. And it took a while, but it took off. Ronald Reagan had 2 landslide victories. And the government grew tremendously. You realize the government was growing tremendously when Donald Trump started cutting regulations and cutting taxes. Who benefited? The government. Now, I can't help that the Democrats and some Republicans decide we're going to spend even more than we got coming in. But the second thing, the first thing we need to do is make sure the people and the companies grow here. Folks, we're trying to stop out-migration. We want to have plenty of money to do whatever government's supposed to do. But it's got to be about people and companies first, not about the government and the system and the lobbyists. I mean, there's so many things we probably can do. If we're not talking about cutting $500 million to $600 million minimum, it's a non-starter with me. It's gotta be something, folks, we can sink our teeth into. If it's about cutting and growing, if it's about growing government, businesses are not going to grow if we grow government. It's got to be the other way around. If you grow government, you got to have tax money. Where are you getting it from? Well, if we go get it from businesses, they're going to get it from you and me, the middle class, the working people. That's what you do. You're selling something that costs you $10 and you can sell it for $20. And now it costs you $13. You're not going to sell it for $20. You got to sell it for $23 or $26 or whatever it is. You can't. That's what happens. So who pays for it? That person at the retail. Person they claim they're giving tax breaks. I want to see the plan. I'm not against anything at this point except growing government in a state. That's all we do. Growing the system, keeping lobbyists happy that they're begging the federal government to give them a check. I mean, the state government to give them the check. And the cut has to come through state government. This is another thing they told me. Well, you know, Moon, if we cut, we ain't going to be able to do the matching funds with the federal government. I thought, well, that's fine, but why has everything got to be based off what the federal government's giving us? See, boy, when you grow your own economy and you make things boom, federal government needs to be the last thing we worry about. It needs to be the last place we look to for anything. Folks, if they handing it out, they're also telling you what you can do and what you can't do. You make your own money. You make your own money. Just think if you're in a business for yourself, you do what you want to do. If you work for somebody, you do what they tell you to do if you're getting a check. That's the same thing. If we're our own state, we're growing our own companies are prospering, we're hiring people, we don't have an out-migration problem, we're the only ones in the South. Mississippi has a somewhat, we got a big one. What happens, you change that narrative by making everything here better. It can't be about how much money we can get from the federal government. Bill Edwards has trained people for 8 years. Federal money, federal money, federal money. I want to see this big plan. I hope to God I can support it. I really do. My goal is to support it if it's a good enough plan. But I'm not going along to get along. That 0.45 ought to be ripped off. That should have we shouldn't even think about that $500 million. But we do because it's been embedded, and Bill Edwards with Republicans in the House and Senate voted for that. They would have whacked it then last year, not this past session, but last year's session when Edwards was governor was a debacle, man. We told y'all we were going to run into problems because we didn't cut back then. All right, we got to go. More to come. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
We help people through their detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. Even though it's a 10-day treatment, I look at the first 4 or 5 days as the brain restoration piece. And when the brain restoration piece turns on, that's when we have patients go, wow, a light bulb turned on or a switch was turned on. All of a sudden, their prefrontal cortex is working. And their midbrain is also working. They're not craving. They're thinking clearly. They see things clearly. And they have more confidence.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 225-755-9566.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
225-755-9566. 755-9566. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
I've been bragging about Dino Hardwoods for a long time. My good friend Charles Altman, they do an excellent job. And if you're looking for unique or hard-to-find hardwood lumber, plywood, and molding, it's Dino Hardwoods. That's where you need to go. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Trust Dino Hardwoods for all your hardwood lumber and cypress needs. With the holiday season fast approaching, as you know, a timeless handmade gift using quality lumber by Dino just means more. With 3 great locations to serve you now, Broussard, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and now he's expanded in Tyler, Texas. Folks, there's something for every discerning woodworker at Dino. Go to DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com, and check out the unique and hard-to-find hardwood, lumber, plywood, and molding that you can't just find anywhere. Charles Altman, trust me, is not a better man in the business. He knows what he's doing, and he wants to service you. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com.
Do you crave?
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. So I want to go back and play a couple of things for you. I got the clip on Harris. Folks, I don't understand why people cannot see past their nose on how bad these people are, not only for the country, for your life and your prosperity. I saw Emmitt Smith and some of these professional athletes all coming out for Harris without ever evaluating how much money they made and what kind of life they lived in this country for their kids and grandkids. It all ought to be taken away one day. They don't want people to have that. John Kerry don't want nobody to have the First Amendment rights. When they tell you something, you have to believe it. And in this, with Harris again, you watch what she says and you can always go back and look where they got these from. When Barack Obama said we only need about 2 news sources, he meant that. Barack Obama said, and by that way, it reminds me, Barack Obama wants a well-funded military in the great state, in the United States of America, just as well-funded as the military. Just as well-funded as the military. And I've always thought this, and I told friends, and I think I've told y'all, what worries me is with all these illegals, they start adopting and bringing them into law enforcement and paying them well. What would they turn on Americans because they will not have any loyalty to God, family, country, like somebody that's lived here? Then I saw it, and this has been going on a little bit. Minneapolis swears in first non-U.S. citizen as police officer. Non-U.S. citizen. And I thought, what if they put together an army, well-funded, military personnel in the United States of America that people like John Kerry and Kamala Harris and Barack Obama would be in charge of? You think people talk about, hey, come and get my guns. You think these people care if you got a gun right? We already got Kamala Harris on stage talking about that we'll come into your place and we'll come in and we'll come look at and see what you're doing with your guns, whether you're a legal citizen or not. Malkin, I think you still had that quote, too, from her as well, where she said that. She said that. And you start looking at these quotes. But anyway, Minneapolis swears in first non-citizen, I thought. I said this years ago. That'll be a way to do it. I don't think the average policeman, army, somebody in the military is going to turn on their own citizens. I don't think that'll ever happen. But I do think if you get somebody who doesn't give a rat's rip about the United States of America and the Constitution, God, family, and country, and you say, hey, I'm paying you well. You know that Griffon guy got 100 weapons. We want to make sure we go in there and take him out. I'm just saying that that's what concerned me. So now taking by the way, all non-citizens on illegal, but they're still non-citizens. That concern may not concern y'all. I'm just looking at big picture stuff. Anyway, here's Kamala one more time on grabbing these quotes from the Communist Party.
America is ready for a new way forward. We are not going back. We together will chart a new way forward. We're not going back. Together we'll move forward.
We're not going back. Forward together. Folks, this has literally been the slogan of the Communist Party for the past 10 years. I'm not even joking. If you go to the Communist Party USA's website, 3 years ago, Communist co-chair Rosanna Cambron literally wrote an article titled, "We're Not Going Back, Forward Together." Rosanna is a communist through and through, and she's unashamed of it.
That's how we communists work. This is how you build that movement that's going to be the massive movement that we need to topple capitalism.
It's not a coincidence that this just so happens to be Kamala Harris's campaign slogan, nor did she plagiarize it from the Communist Party. Communists have long acted as the kind of ideological undergird of the Democrat Party here in the United States, and Kamala Harris is just a continuation of that.
Together we'll move forward.
Again, for the past decade, communists have been giving speeches all over the country where they have the banner, "We're not going back," plastered behind them.
Chicago has produced more outstanding communist leaders maybe than any other place around in a lot of ways.
So this begs a question. Do you continue to pretend that Kamala Harris is not influenced by communist ideology, choosing instead to blindly accept the Marxian policies that she's pushing forward? Or do you choose not to be the idiot they think you are?
So, folks, let me ask you a question. When somebody that should not even be around the presidency, who didn't never win a Democrat Party nomination, what is a new way forward? There's no better way than freedom. There's no better way than capitalism. You wouldn't be in your home without capitalism. You wouldn't have freedom to go up and down and go where you want to go in capitalism. You wouldn't be able to, if without capitalism, you could never go get the job that you have now. Without capitalism, if you out there and you own your own business, it's this free market. The way it was set up for people to go be their best they can be. What's the new way forward? There's only one other way to go, and that's communism, Marxism. It's the only way they're going to go. They control your life. They tell you everything you're going to get and you're not going to get. They're not going to let you go be creative. They don't want you. John Kerry proved that earlier. John Kerry don't want nobody thinking for themselves. Nobody. You think only what we tell you is the truth. Kerry means this. Obama meant it too. And I don't understand people. We're going to kick Kamala's rear end here. But I don't understand the South's going to dominate, except maybe Georgia, which has blown it several times. I just shaking my head. See, I'm trying to understand how somebody can vote for this lady. I'm trying to understand when you run into your friends and they say that they're going to vote for her, and it's only because they hate Donald Trump. They're not voting for her if they only knew was, if you think a healthcare system where the government owns it, where we got illegals, Medicare for all, illegals own it, young people own it, everybody's on it, including older people who's going to be pushed to the back to say, well, we can't get to you for a few months. I mean, this should worry everybody. John Kerry, First Amendment, major block to stopping disinformation. No, it ain't. Y'all the one putting out all the disinformation. So last week on Friday, had a data dump. 650,000 illegal criminals, suspects free in the Biden-Harris America. They've let 650,000 I'm talking about criminals, people that rape and kill and everything else, free in America. This is what Kamala Harris has done. People are going to vote for her. Just because somebody hadn't been raped in your family yet, there have been people that have raped because of Kamala Harris. There have been people killed because of Kamala Harris and the illegals that have come across. Folks, this is so serious. This is one of the most serious things to come out in the whole election, and yet nobody's running with it because the media doesn't care, because maybe their family members hadn't been raped yet, or maybe they hadn't been killed yet. President Biden administration is allowing up to 650,000 illegal immigrants and suspects, including at least 13,099 illegal murderers and 221,000 plus facing criminal charges, to roam through America's communities. And by the way, do you know who they are? The data suggests among those not in detention, there are 425,500 convicted criminals. They just out there walking around, doing what they do. Look, why can't people see? You mean to tell me you hurt Trump? You hate Trump more than you want to love America and protect America? This is stunning. People ought to be up in arms about her on this. But instead, they're trying to figure out a way how to cheat Trump again. That blows my mind out the water to be that stupid. And if the American people put up with this, we deserve everything coming our way. And you're not going to like it, folks. They want you to like it. Okay, we got to take a break. One more break in this hour. 844-766-6607. Take a break. Be right back. Nestled in gently rolling hills in North Louisiana is a place that produces the finest Louisiana wines around, Landry Vineyards. This place is phenomenal. Not only are they passionate about growing wine grapes and making Landry Vineyards wine, they also have cottages and RV sites you can rent, tours, and live music on Saturdays and tastings Monday through Saturday. Available in over 650 stores throughout Louisiana, I encourage you to visit and try Landry wine direct from Landry Vineyards. This is another great Louisiana company that has my full support, and they're Louisiana certified. A red blend they labeled Bayoutage, Blackberry Merlot, Cabs, Rosé, Petite Syrah, dry and sweet whites, and many, many other wines. Learn more about their wines and their vineyard online at LandryVineyards.com. This is Moon Griffon. My lovely bride and I love the wines from this great Louisiana company, Landry Vineyards, and so will you. Go visit their beautiful winery and find them in your local grocery store. If they don't have Landry Vineyards wine, ask and ask again. LandryVineyards.com. Woo, good wine right here.
It started with direct messages. That's how they got to my son. Gavin was just 17 and looking forward to college. He was contacted by online predators pretending to be a teenage girl. He was the victim of sexual extortion. In less than 2 hours after that first message, Gavin died by suicide. It's a pain I don't want any other parent to feel. Social media is causing an epidemic of bullying, anxiety, and depression, and it's leaving kids vulnerable to the kind of predators that targeted my son. We have to hold big tech accountable and pass the Kids Online Safety Act. I couldn't protect my son, but now it's my mission to make sure all kids are protected. I'm a father and a proud conservative, and I'm here to tell Speaker Johnson, pass the Kids Online Safety Act, because nothing is more important than protecting our kids.
Paid for by Issue One Action, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. IssueOneAction.org.
Hi. Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is a pleasure to be with you today. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. By the way, so when I look at this, don't tell me all this stuff's happening by accident. They're running up debt, and they know it's going to crush us. The dependency on China. Matter of fact, I shared with you the other day what Janet Yellen said. Yellen said we have deepened our ties with China. None of this is good for America. Deepen your ties with a communist country. That's our problem, folks. We got people that are selling us out. You get mad at me for saying that they're selling us out, and the average person don't care. I ain't voting for Trump. I'm voting for Kamala. Yellen said, deepen our ties with China. China will take us down and never have to fire a shot. The running up of debt, no reason in this. None, unless you want the country to fall. There's no reason to run up all this debt. There's no reason to let 20, 30 million illegals in here and have damn near 1 million of them criminals because they letting their rapists and killers and drug dealers go in the country because we have a president and a vice president that don't want to do anything about it. That is not an accident. This is not accidentally happening in America. They knew once these people would get in here, they would be embedded. We would embed them in everything, including our health care. Kamala's on record. She wants illegals to have health care. She wants illegals to be able to buy houses. She's on record. That's why the government has funded people staying in hotels and housing and everything else they could give them. They ain't leaving. They fought in their country to survive. They'll come over here. They don't mind fighting. Nothing of it. None of this makes any sense. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. This is what China don't want there to be a United States of America. They can rule the world. Apparently, John Kerry and Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, they don't want the United States to exist. That's what the Green New Deal is all about, telling us that we're going to control a damn hurricane. I wish they'd get to controlling it. This is sad. A country that's not willing to fight for what's right. Just give up on America. You know, folks, if this was, quote, accidentally happening, oh, we made some mistakes, that would be one thing. This is not a mistake. There's no mistake going on in America right now. I'm just telling you, there's no mistake in America. I'm just telling you, there's no mistake here. This is being done on purpose. I mean, gee whiz. Gee whiz. And then you got people like John Kerry wants to get rid of the First Amendment. You know, when you get rid of the First Amendment, what you do is whatever the government tells you, that's facts. If they tell you it's man-made global warming, you can't argue with them. They tell you need a vaccine, you can't argue with them. If they tell you that you need to pay 20% more taxes, you can't argue with them. If they tell you the planet's flat, you can't argue with them. I'm just frustrated with the whole process. But, folks, I'm more frustrated with you and me than I am them. Let's go to Baton Rouge. We'll go to Brian. Brian, how you doing? Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fine, sir.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. This is it makes no sense what they're doing to America unless you look at everything and like it's all part of the New World Order. That they have a plan. Whoever those people are, they have a plan to bring down America and level the playing field. And in the process, what I think they've done is they've labeled law-abiding citizens that happen to like Trump, the MAGA crew, as extremists, because if they ever do anything again in an election that is a little bit suspect, then they already have all the population labeled as extremists. Mm-hmm. And they got the media going right along with them.
Well, the media is a big part of their plan. If you look at, let me tell you something, Brian, I'm not a historian, a historian buff that know everything, because I don't. I'm admitting that. But the one thing I did learn about history in some of these communist, Marxist-type countries, socialism, the media always starts taking side with the government that's in charge. And they become more of a propaganda state. They're mad at Donald Trump. They mad at us more than Trump. People don't understand that. But Trump's their symbol.
Yeah.
Trump's their symbol to go after you and me. And so when they pound Trump, they pounding you and me. I don't care if you like Trump or not. That's not even the point. But they want to make sure, and when the media does what they're doing and takes sides, we lose a country. Argentina did it. Spain did it. Cuba. You can just go name all the countries. And because the media is supposed to be calling balls and strikes. Our media is supposed to be protecting the Constitution. And if they did that,
that's right,
we'd be in great shape. But the media got their rights. Their right of, was it First Amendment, they can go be protect and cover stories, but they don't do that anymore. They slant stories. No. And Trump called them out. Enemies of the state. They are. This is exactly, and they are so mad at him for calling them out because now people see what they're doing, but some people never will see anything because they're too blinded.
Yeah, you're right.
They're mad at him for calling them out.
Yeah, they're definitely mad at him for calling them fake news.
But he called them enemies of the state, and they really are because, they didn't go after Kamala. Let me tell you something. This thing was flipped, and Trump was still a president, and we were struggling in the economy and struggling with the border and all. They would be going out every day to show people how bad Donald Trump was. But they're not doing that with Kamala. Oh. I mean, think about 650,000 criminals. That's what they know led into the country. Rapists, murderers, and just let them roam your country. And you, as a media, don't go against that?
Yeah, and then not the fact, and not to discount the fact that most Americans go to work and get a job so they can get health care. Yep. Other people come into the country illegal and they got it handed to them.
But think about this: John Kerry does not want you and me to have free speech anymore. They want whatever he said it, whatever the consensus is, not just on the Green New Deal and climate change, on everything. If they come up with a consensus and this is the answer, Moon and Brian have no right to say one word. That is so dangerous, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just saw over the weekend, not to keep you, but I just saw over the weekend that Mark Cuban, somebody who I don't respect very much, said if he had the money, he would buy Fox News and buy Twitter because we just put out bad stuff. And I go like, geez, we're the only one. Those are really the only platforms allowing another side to be heard.
Yeah, well, the bad stuff's coming out of the left because of the media, and they just as bad in the state of Louisiana. It's a shame, but look at people. This is what people want. I said again, we get everything we deserve, and people ain't gonna like what they think they want. Anyway, got to go. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Anytime you play Santa Claus, it looks awful good. All right, we're gonna take a break. Be back. More of the Moon Griffon Show. The rest of y'all leaving us. God bless. Listen, MoonGriffon.com. Listen live. Another hour to go.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.